You don't need your lighting?
Hopefully this works. I don't know. Okay, yours is working. Mine is working. All right. You ready?
Yes.
Sweet. All right, we are live.
Awesome. We're live.
All right.
Good morning, good evening. Well, it's evening, Eastern time over here where we are. Hi, guys.
Is it too dark?
We're doing something a little different today. Hope you have had an amazing day. We figured we would kill two birds, feed some babies, and have some food for the soul. How's that? So we're going to be talking today about cooking and calling. My name is Nkechi Vaughn, and welcome.
Awesome.
Welcome, my Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Curtis Vaughn.
You really make people turn off. Man.
Okay, so we're the Vaughns. Hey guys, welcome. We're going to be cooking and stirring up a conversation about generational legacy. Hi, welcome.
I can't believe
welcome.
somebody actually joined. So
We're
random.
doing cooking and calling tonight. You know, I've been really just playing with the idea of being comfortable being uncomfortable.
I'm definitely uncomfortable right
Definitely uncomfortable right now, but that's okay. We'll survive because we're just human beings and y'all are just human beings, right? And we just figured we'd just take a chill pill on this beautiful Thursday night. It's so nice in the south of the Carolinas, as I say, outside. It wasn't too hot today. You know, it was really a productive day, actually, I would say. Got a lot done and figured we would just kill two birds, like I said. So what's on the menu?
We're having salmon and roasted potatoes
Any kind of salmon?
with delicious gravy.
Yeah. So you just let me try and take another stab at that. We're gonna have. So this is the difference between.
What I said was English.
Yes, what you said was English, but it wasn't. It wasn't giving, as they say, as the young people say. It wasn't giving, right? So we're gonna be making pan-seared salmon right here with a lot of herbs. Yes, some rosemary and some parsley. So we're gonna make some pan-seared salmon and some awesome roasted potatoes with a bomb lemon gravy. Okay, I got this recipe off of YouTube and we love it to bits. So anytime we get a chance, we want to make it, right? How was your day today? Did you have a good day? I hope you had a good day because we're about to have an amazing chat right now. So just get your favorite drink, a coffee, tea, whatever it is that you drink right now. I'm a water girl. There's my bottle. I'm a water girl, so I'm going to drink some water so that your hostess with the mostest doesn't pass out. So, babe, can you help me with the salmon?
Mhm.
Do you mind sticking them up for me, please?
No.
And then we'll get the pan sizzling hot with some oil. I already have the oven going.
Pan-seared?
Yeah, I'm gonna pan sear it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Do you think it's gonna be too much? Because I have only a few pans just to bake them
Okay.
ready. So it'll be fine. So we're just gonna prep and see how this goes. So we've talked about the menu, we've talked about the conversation, stirring up generational legacy. What do you think? Let's future pace for a second.
Okay.
Just thinking out loud, like there's some folks that we've been having conversations with online, offline, phone calls. Let me grab the pan real quick. And, you know, I feel like a lot of people are searching for something more in their lives, whether it's spiritually, whether it's in their relationships, whether it's in their finances. I feel like the common denominator, though, oftentimes is really finances. But when we say stirring up generational legacy, I want to start off by asking, what type of legacy are you looking to leave for your children's children? Because I know Proverbs 13 is a huge scripture that means a lot to you in this season. So maybe what type of chains are you breaking off of? Or what legacy are you intentionally building for your kids, spiritually speaking, in this season? Just broad brush strokes, or however deep you want to share, because I'm going to answer the question as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's your vision, legacy wise, in spiritual terms, for your children's children? What do you want them to remember about you?
About me particularly?
Yeah, about you, about us, because we are technically one, right?
Yeah. Well, that we had a legacy of faith and trusting in God, or Yah, as we call him.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely want to have a legacy of faith and belief in him.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely worship is a central focus of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We love to worship as a family.
So you want to be remembered as Papa who always brought his guitar everywhere? Yeah, I love that.
I don't always get to play it, but I do try to bring it.
Yeah, I
do
love
try to
that.
bring it.
So, did you have any other thoughts to add to that? Or did you want me?
Broad strokes.
Broad strokes?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think from my perspective, definitely leaving our children's children with faith. You know, scripture says the Messiah, when he comes back, he's going to ask the question, can I find faith? Where's the faith, right? So I definitely want to be in the camp of those who knew him and actually had faith, not those who knew him and were scared, as we used to say way back then. I haven't even said that word in like maybe more than 20 years now, but those who knew him and actually have faith. Because it says when Christ comes, his question is, will I find faith on the face of the earth? And the only way to actually have a positive response is to be intentional about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is to actually be intentional about seeking the truth, to be intentional about, the disciplines. Here's your knife. So yeah, you just stick them up, you know what I mean?
You take it off the napkin.
Oh yeah, sure. I can help with that. And then walk it out. Day by day, walk it out. Otherwise, we're just gonna run off of autopilot, and that never really got anyone good, strong results. Anyways, it is an intentional act. And by the way, did we even introduce ourselves?
We want to move these.
Take it off?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
if you're just joining, welcome. We are Curtis and Nkechi Vaughn, aka Kurtechi, for those who know.
This is so weird. We're like on a TV show.
Hey guys.
And then we're talking about cooking and calling, stirring up generational legacy. I love the fact that he just goes with the flow with all these crazy ideas that I have. And really why we're here is just to break outside of our own comfort zones, and really connect with you guys, connect with you, whoever it is that might be watching this live or later. Where we realize that we're one big giant family, and the internet is what is kind of holding us together in some regards. Although in-person community is also really, really huge for us. But we realize that those who we are called to serve are on the other side of this camera right now. So
absolutely.
Next thing we want to talk about, still in the theme of future pacing, just thinking ahead, 3 generations ahead. What would you say to someone who is just kind of feeling stuck in a rut? Like, oh, who's this couple? They look so well put together and everything just looks great.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure they said that.
Oh no, I'm just saying, like, if someone is just assuming, all these things, but deep down they're actually struggling. Whether they're struggling in their faith, they're struggling with their self, whatever it is, there might be some kind of struggle there. You've been through struggles, right? Every day there's always a challenge in front of us.
Absolutely.
How do you get over that?
How do you go with struggle?
How do you deal with that? Because again, this is about thinking 3 generations ahead, and the way we behave actually transfers over to our kids and our kids' kids. So help get someone unstuck if they're feeling just, I don't know, depressed, unhappy, what have you.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't. Depression, how I typically dealt with that or dealt with sadness or anything like that, I would always try to find time to worship.
Worship.
Yeah, that'd be my go-to. I'm not sure that applies to everybody who doesn't believe in the Bible or anything like that. But
right.
For me, anytime I've had doubt, insecurity, anxiety, fear, which all that anxiety and fear really is just like you're rehearsing failure
in your mind
in advance. You're having faith in negative things as opposed to having faith in positive things. You want to cut that in half?
I think so. What does it want to? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely worship helps out with that. And also thinking on great things, finding things to be joyful and happy about. Yeah, always trying to find things to be joyful. There's always something you can be happy about. But as you have breath in your body, hearing a conversation like this in the first place,
right?
That's something to be joyful about. Or the sun is shining, or the sky's still blue.
It is blue.
There's
sun setting here.
There's always something that we can find joy in. So yeah, definitely that. And big shout out to everybody who's watching. This is wild. It's wild to me. We just turned the camera on. People are watching this.
Yeah, we love you guys.
But thank you for whoever's watching, tuning in. Thank you so much.
Love you guys. We're here for it. We're here for growth. It's all about growth. We're growing. Hopefully we can inspire some faith and courage in y'all to grow as well and go, get out. We've never done this before, obviously. And we're just here. We're present because we know those who we're called to serve are on the other side of the camera. And it's just important to not be so, comfortable and cozy and just, it's a form of selfishness. Especially if you know what you're supposed to be doing and who you're called to serve.
So you want to season this now?
Yeah. So what we're gonna do next? So I've been cutting up some of the baby potatoes. They're so cute. Can you please help me? Or help us? Just rinse up some of this rosemary. Smell.
Okay.
I love it. So it reminds me of.
Oh my goodness! We never talk like this in real life.
But I do
about
love
rosemary.
What, rosemary?
We never had a conversation about rosemary.
No, we haven't. But it's here.
Okay.
See?
Rosemary, guys.
Rosemary. Really, really good for flavoring potatoes. It just brings out the earthiness.
Big ups to rosemary.
What's that?
Shout out to rosemary.
Shout out to rosemary. If you're rosemary on the stream or watching, drop a comment and
rosemary
give us some fire emojis because you're here. You're here with us in the kitchen.
Drop a rosemary in the chat.
Drop a rosemary in the chat. Love it.
Or can they hear us? Can they actually hear us? Can you guys leave a comment saying you can hear us or not? That'd be great.
Yeah. So where were we? I think I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Oh, but you're encouraging someone who's been through, who's
well, I was
currently
done
struggling.
with that.
You're done.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I think same thing he would say is literally finding time to refocus, recenter, and go back to my first love, who is the Most High, the lover of my soul, the creator of my whole, the reason why I exist. And worship, spending time reading in the Word. I love also recently we started creating worship songs, so now
we're not gonna do that live tonight.
We're not, maybe another live we might come with some
no worship songs. Yeah, maybe. Oh,
that'd be so fun. If you would love to have a live worship session with some amateur musicians who just want to make a joyful noise.
What's a professional though, man? Really?
Who Me?
I mean, what's the difference? I mean, what's the difference then?
What?
Oh, somebody pays you to sing.
No. The difference is
Then you're a
proficiency.
Is it though?
Yeah. They're levels.
I can play the guitar.
So we are, yeah, you can play, you can
Okay.
definitely play the guitar, and we make a joyful noise with our family, with our little kiddos. It sounds a little chaotic a lot of the time, but it's so amazing. And we encourage that as a family. If you're just, if you feel like you're struggling or whatever it is.
Let me see this.
Oh yeah, you can start. Here's your salt and
We're gonna
pepper.
dry it out.
Yep,
it off
you can,
first.
this is your scene. Why do you like cooking? by the
Babe,
way?
come on, man, relax.
Why do you like cooking?
Why do I like cooking? I don't.
Yeah.
Who said I did?
You do it a lot. So what motivates you to cook?
Eating
Yeah.
necessity.
We used to tease him and his dad that they were very skilled at preventing their hunger. Do you remember that bit?
Don't tell people that.
But you kind of fell off of that a bit. You no longer prevent your hunger as
That was never my
intensely.
thing. That was my dad's thing.
That was your dad's thing,
Yeah,
but it kind of rubbed off on
that's
you.
his
too.
go-to.
Just preventing your hunger.
Making sure he's never actually hungry.
I love you,
Actually, we should
Papa.
probably not say that because
Why?
he's not here to defend himself.
He's gonna defend him. You can hear him defend himself.
Anyway,
So anyways, yeah, find time to where did this come from? Find time to worship with your family and give praise. The Father says, come into my presence with thanksgiving, into my courts with praise. That's literally the best way to cut through a lot of the heaviness and all of that many people might be facing. The other thing is, here's a special tip: don't watch the news.
yeah, no, I
Yeah,
agree
like
with you.
literally, I'll watch the news if it's okay for us to share, and it's okay.
Unless
for you
they
to
found a
listen.
kitten in the tree,
Unless they find a kitten in the tree.
and they saved it.
When's
so.
the last time anybody found a kitten in the tree?
I mean, it happens. I mean, in real life, I think. I don't know, in the movies.
That's like the one in the movie, exactly. When there's a whole set and a production team, right? But in real life, you don't hear that kind of information on the news, though.
The salt and pepper, that's it? That's all it is?
Salt, pepper.
With the garlic and all that.
Yeah. So we're gonna have some garlic. Do we want to do some smoked paprika? Maybe. I mean, all of this is going to be smothered up really nicely with the lemon parsley gravy anyway. So hopefully that helped, or at the very minimum, it was sort of interesting just to take a look-see into how we deal with these things sometimes, which we know everybody faces once in a while. All right, so we're going to transition a bit and talk about relationships in the family. So we have 3 kiddos, 8, 5, and 2. They're almost 9, almost 6, and the other one is going to be 3 in the fall.
Paprika.
Yep. So the question is, what kind of family culture are you looking to build? I can get that.
Let's say right now.
What?
One with a lot of peace. That's our main thing. Peace.
Yeah.
Man, that'll be awesome.
Yeah. So do you think peace is something you only pray for and about, or do you think peace is a skill?
Well, learning that peace is a skill. I mean, I already know the answer to that question,
Guys, you see how I
Peace-
set you up for the best?
Peace is a skill. My head's getting cut off. Peace is a skill, guys.
Peace is actually a skill. So
Peace is a skill.
I'm enrolled in, and if you know Nkechi Vaughn, if you see me online, you know I'm a big advocate of intentional parenting and raising kids right, because I see the ripple effects of what an unskilled child or a child who's gone through a lot of trauma in their childhood, what it does to society when that child actually grows up to become an adult. So a lot of self-reflection has occurred over the last few years, and when I discovered that there's such a thing as a parenting academy, I was like, sign me up. Because I knew I didn't know everything, right? So in our inner circle program of the Intentional Parents Academy, run by Coach Wendy Ologe, she's Africa's #1 parent coach. FYI, look her up. Yes, worthwhile diving into if you are a parent or you're a stakeholder of children who just cares about kids in general. We learn a lot of stuff. We read a lot of books, multiple books per month. Sometimes, like this month, we read Gary Chapman's the 5 love languages of kids. Oh, by the way, weren't we supposed to put some oil on it?
The pan, right?
Hmm?
The pan.
Oh,
Your pan's in there.
duh. I lost my train of. I thought we were baking it again. My bad. Okay, so yeah,
You want to bake it?
no, let's not bake it because I'm not prepared for that.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and start.
You have a spatula, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Here you go.
All right.
So yeah, peace is a skill. It was the whole point of this me rambling on. You know, it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen a clip of a pilot who recently who was flying a plane somewhere. Do you want to tell the story?
Wait.
The pilot scene of the Piss is a Skill webinar that we took a look at the other day.
Well, he lost an engine.
A pilot lost an engine. He had, like, let's say 100,
You wouldn't let me tell the
passengers,
story.
and then what happened?
Nothing. He calmly stated the obvious, like we lost an engine.
Yep,
He lost an engine, guys.
like a whole engine.
But his demeanor,
40,000 feet up.
his
in the
demeanor
air.
and his countenance never changed. It never got rattled. You would never notice that he was flustered or upset or concerned, overly concerned about the catastrophic failure of one of their engines.
Right.
Which is impressive.
But how did he get there, though? What do you think?
Well, a couple things. One, he's trained to know. He's trained to know, like, just because you lose an engine doesn't mean you're going to crash automatically. But he knows that. He's a pilot. He's trained, skilled. He knows, like, just because I lost an engine, it's not the end of the world. We can get home. We have more than enough power and the next engine over to handle it. That's one thing. Two, you tell me.
Yeah, so definitely training. But then he could have easily said, forget this training. Oh my God, we're going to die. Oh my God, this is crazy. You know, like, he could have literally lost his.
Did we lose the camera?
Did we lose the camera?
I'll check.
You
On
want
my
to check?
live stream.
Well, if we didn't lose the camera and y'all are still there watching us cook, and
Oh, there we go. Okay.
we're still on?
Is the camera on now?
No.
Oops, daisy. I think I know what happened.
There we go. There we go. As they say on television, sorry for the break in transmission. I do believe that the camera is now off kilter and no longer focused on the countertop. So anyways, are we still live? We're still live, right?
We're still alive.
Okay, cool. So I'll keep talking. So he got the training and he didn't totally lose his cool. And to me, that just means that he had pre-rehearsed this scenario in his head. And instead of allowing instincts to take over, he decided that he was not going to allow his instincts to take over. Basically, fear and, kind of like that fight or flight mode. He overrode all of those with the training that he had received. Calm voice. So as he was talking to the air traffic controllers, voice was calm. He felt totally in control, and that's how they were able to safely land that plane. So all the passengers, including the pilot, actually survived.
Yeah.
So how do we get here? And if you're just jumping on, we're just going through a bunch of, reflection questions about cooking and calling and stirring up generational legacy.
All right. So are you ready to
Put the fish.
Cook the fish.
Yes, let's sear it. So we're going to sear it in here.
is it hot?
Yes, that should be hot. Just make sure that's good. It's going to get hot real fast. So
All right.
I think you're gonna have to flip those and season them on the other side.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No.
Although I think we may have well, we'll see how it goes.
We never do that.
Yeah. For the seared frying pan.
That's new to me then.
Yeah?
We never done that before.
I'm just winging it, guys.
Are you sure? You
I'm
season the
not
skin?
really sure, but I think that's what we're supposed to do. If you know how to pan-sear salmon,
I've never seen it before.
drop in the chat if you're supposed to flip it and season the skin. I do think we seasoned the skin the last time. I'm not obviously not using a recipe, so my criteria for food is it edible? A lot of the time they're like, oh my goodness, it's so great. I'm like, crazy, yeah. So anyways, let's talk about something maybe a little bit more closer to home with many families. Because I saw a post the other day from this lady who's a stay-at-home mompreneur like I am. And she said within the first, by 8 a.m. in at least in the States, by 8 a.m., the typical family in America, everyone is out of the house. Mom's here, off to work. Dad's here, off to work. The kids are here. So there's a whole scramble as soon as everybody wakes up, and then boom, everybody's out of the house. That's what we've been told normal looks like,
Okay.
right? So the question now is, what are you teaching your family to make a living or to build an intentional life focused on purpose? Because this is in the whole vein of work, families, and how we're kind of organized in society. So are we teaching them to earn, just, make money, earn a living, get good grades, blah, blah, blah? Or are we teaching them something different? And how did we actually get there?
What are we teaching our kids?
Yeah, what are we teaching? Or what's the culture that we're building within our family?
Well, definitely a culture of entrepreneurship. We don't want. I think I know what's going on. I think I know what's going on.
You might want to keep talking.
I think I know what's
especially
going
if we're still on.
Hold on a second.
So he's this multi-talented guy over here.
It's the battery question. Keep asking the battery question.
It's a battery question?
Oh, actually, no, it's actually overheating. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, wow. I think it overheated. I think so.
So right now what I'm doing is I'm just mixing up the potatoes with the olive oil and a whole bunch of rosemary. Okay. Very, very generous. I think I used like the whole bunch because it does awesome wonders once it goes in.
Okay.
So hopefully you caught that. The rosemary's in, salt, pepper in. I'm not going to over season this. I think this is good to go into the oven. Do you think I should cut some more, or are we okay?
Potatoes, yeah, more.
Add more?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
100%.
How fast can I do the rest? Here's what's left.
Don't hurt yourself.
I'm not gonna hurt myself.
Slow down.
But thank you for your concern, my sweet.
The camera's overheating for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
That's what it is.
So
I think we got to wrap up.
So we got to wrap it up. We got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap this up by maybe fast forwarding to, so you talked about the type of family we're building, an intentional family that's focused on purpose. Newsflash. We made our family vision, mission, and values as a document literally a couple years ago when we first joined the Intentional Parents Academy. And what's our tagline, babe?
To love, learn, and lead fearlessly.
Love, learn, lead fearlessly. So if you catch us on the street not being loving, not learning, and not being fearless in whatever it is that we're doing, make sure you call us out, because that's what we're supposed to be doing as a family. Have you created your family vision, mission, and values? Such a helpful thing to do as a family, because it keeps everyone grounded and moving in the same direction. So thank you again, TIP, for that awesome exercise that you made everybody do as soon as we joined. So we're going to talk about what we're actually building. What are you actually building? Your vision is what?
Okay. Well, our vision is to, let me take it back a second.
Sure.
It's to build a legacy of spiritual legacy and also a natural legacy leaving a heritage for my children's children. That's what the predominant scripture has been, and will
What was
continue
that?
to be.
Proverbs 13?
Yeah, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children.
Right.
So that is my driving force to definitely accomplish that and do that. Let me look in the camera. but yeah, leave it a legacy for my children's children. Yeah, that's what my driving force is.
Yep. So that's the why, and
That's the big overarching.
that's the
why.
overarching why, because we don't want to only see like how, you know, when if you work out, I don't work out. This guy works out, obviously. My workout is our kids. Thank you very much. But if you only worked out one muscle, you end up looking like what? Johnny Bravo. Remember Johnny Bravo? Like that's what you end up looking like. So because we don't want to end up looking lopsided in one way, we have to have balance, right? Someone say balance. Type balance in the chat. So we are 3-part beings: spirit, soul, body, right? We're here for specific assignments. Everybody has a specific mission. Everybody has a specific calling. So we can never actually be competing with each other because we're unique. Hopefully that just freed somebody else up. If you have like, you know, issues comparing yourself with other people, there's no competition. You're the only version of you, and therefore you get to own your stage. Okay, so why am I saying all of this? Because I find like, because we're Bible believers, and we find like a lot of the time, at least since we've been growing up, there's been a high and extreme emphasis on the spiritual walk. And I'm so grateful for the foundation that we've all, you know, that we've received, and the fact that we're still learning. You want to keep cutting it up?
Are we doing more?
However, we noticed that if we just continued in the same trajectory of being only tunnel visioned towards only our spiritual legacy, our kids will probably end up resenting us down the line, because we would leave them with absolutely nothing that they can actually use in building their own lives, to do whatever it is that they've been called to do, divinely orchestrated and called to do. So we got a wake-up call, like, y'all, you know, you've been professional churchgoers, now you're Bible believers, you're understanding what real community looks like, you're understanding what it means to seek the truth, and it's time for you to now focus on this other thing called the practical side of Proverbs 13:22, which is leaving a legacy behind. So that led us into real estate, that led us into entrepreneurship, that even led us into being authors and trying all these different things.
Well, it's way more deeper than just it's time to wake up to generational wealth. It was a dire circumstance.
Right.
The way it was phrased to me, that was critically important that we
Right.
move in that direction. And I said this before, I think in the last live stream, but like looking at society, how it's going now, I can see the wisdom in that. Like 4 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But things are rapidly changing in society. Prices are going up, tariffs are going up, AI is taking everybody's job, or trying to anyway. And life is just radically different. It's moving so rapidly into a different realm that people have to level up their skill set. They have to learn how to produce generational wealth. It's like, I don't know there's an option anymore. I think we have to learn how to step outside the box of just working in corporate America or something like that. But anyway, that was my take on it.
Yeah, so it was a slap. It was not just a wake-up call. It was a wake-up slap.
Oh, it was beyond a wake-up call.
And then the day after
beyond
he had that wake-up call, I actually had a nightmare. I don't think I've ever shared this, but I actually had a nightmare of literally, for those who don't know, I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. Okay, that's one of the most amazing cities in the whole of the continent of Africa. If you know, you know. But at the same time, in Lagos, there's also exists, you know, as in many other places in third world nations, there's extreme poverty and there's extreme, you know, wealth and just comfort, if you will. And after my husband had that wake up call, you know, that spoke to him, God spoke to him, like, bro, you need to stop trying to make money, like stop that thing and start thinking 3 generations ahead. What happened to me, like by the next night, unbeknownst to me, had this dream, is I had a nightmare that I was back in my kind of hometown area where I grew up, and I was riding the worst form of transportation that actually exists. Okadas, if you know what that means. You can look it up on YouTube if you're not familiar. But I was basically on an Okada going somewhere, and it was just not right because that's not even how I left. So it's almost like we got this revelation and wake up slap. Like, you guys, you seem like you're comfortable right now. You know, you're in this wonderful high profile job. He was doing his entrepreneurship thing, you know, hustling, working, and it was actually working for him. Yeah, that's the last one. Yay, well done. But in actuality, we were like the frog being boiled slowly, and we had no idea. So very grateful for that, and grateful that we got the opportunity to shake things up and to leave our comfort zone, which is the reason why we're now here on YouTube. One of our coaches said, here's what you need to do. Turn on the camera. Just turn on the camera, because the people who you're called to serve are on the other side. I think I've said that multiple times.
Well, I mean, you have to. I mean, every single entrepreneur that's successful that I've ever seen at a high level, the vast majority, I'm going to say 80, 90% of them are on social media.
Well, just findable.
Yeah.
Findable.
And you got to be findable. And it just makes common sense. If you can't find you, they can't work with you.
Right.
But that's not the only reason why we're here. We're actually here to provide value.
Yeah.
And to
have fun.
Yeah.
Like, we never get to do
have
this.
a good time, guys.
Yeah. It's such a blessing. And we want to shout out our neighbor. I'm not going to say her name, who has been so gracious. We formed such a amazing family bond with her. You know, had so many just intimate moments, vulnerable moments.
We need these?
Yes, I'm gonna need. Oh, I forgot to bring the. It's okay. We'll be fine. But yeah, shout out to our neighbor for being amazing. She's with the kiddos so that they don't, you know, bring the whole house down. All right. So with that being said, I think we're about to wrap up, right? So we're building something intentional that's been divinely orchestrated, that we should be here and add value and serve you guys. And how do we specifically serve people? Because we've been getting a lot of questions about, you know, the posts that we've been making. And if you're brand new, you never met us before, we are Curtis. Sorry. Yes, we are, aren't we?
My name is Curtis.
And my name is Nkechi, and together we are Kurtechi. So we've been making posts about our new baby. Our new baby in the sense of our new entrepreneurship journey, which is not really new, to be honest, but
it's a new facet of it.
It's a new facet
because
right.
we entered into real estate investing,
right?
And instead of just primarily doing that, now we are going to be coaching on the same skill sets that I learned through being a wholesaler, deal finder, professional deal finder, and learn from some of the top teams in the country. Spent a lot of money and a lot of time learning and developing that skill set. And now we are passing that on to other people and helping them find their first property in 90 days or less. And yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So finding their first property in 90 days or less.
With competence and confidence.
Both.
Yeah.
And not the old way. How long did it take for you to actually get to the point where you could start making offers on properties and, you know?
Well, I mean, the barrier to entry for making an offer is pretty low. I mean, as long as you can find a property and somebody with a pulse and an agent, you can make an offer on a property. But being able to find deals and craft deals and understand what a deal actually is a very different animal.
Right.
It's a very different thing.
You know.
So we want to pass that skill set along, that people know what a deal looks like. They can recognize a deal, a great deal, put together a great deal, because deals are not just found, they're made. You can actually make a good deal, even out of a bad deal.
Yeah. And I was just, you know, I had a good conversation with an old colleague turned friend, little sis of mine, because she's also interested in investing in real estate, has a little son, a young son, and she's already thinking generationally, like, I don't want my son to have to go through what I've been through. So she signed up for our class, and I just had a chat with her, and I was just asking, like, so how would you go about actually building generational wealth with real estate today? And we're actually curious what you would do if you had no blueprint, if you had no, masterclass to go to or what have you. And I was nosy, so I went online and just, asked the chat. And basically, it seems like a very unpredictable, kind of unstructured way that people would go about
What's some
investing.
examples?
Okay, so here's what it says, and I'm just going to read it out. First of all, start saving for a down payment, because it says often people think you have to have 20% or more in order to invest in real estate. True or false?
That's false.
False. Okay. Now,
I
then
will say, for most people, it's true. But if you know ways around it, you can get it done without that.
check this out, guys. We're cooking and what is it? Cooking and
Learning?
No, that's not it. Cooking and calling. So we're talking about cooking, calling, and stirring up a generational legacy. So he just said it's false that you do not necessarily need to have all of the 20% down to be able to invest in real estate for the most part.
Well, the cool thing about real estate, like I say this in the masterclass a lot, but like most of the deal, let's say the property costs $100,000, you only need to find 20% because there you can throw a rock and there's companies out there who are really willing to invest in a moderate to great deal, So the vast majority of your deals, you don't have to worry about finding the entire 100% of the property's cost. You can actually narrow it down to like the top 20%.
Wow.
So
this is looking good too.
And then there's ways around, finding that 20%.
Right.
There's things you can do.
So the next thing it says they check their credit and see what they qualify for pre-approval. Out of frame.
How about out of see it?
Oh, you can see yourself? Okay. I can't really see it.
But yeah.
Yeah. So if the credit is not, blindingly great, people take themselves out of the game. Is that good or is that bad?
You can actually work around that. You don't have to have perfect credit in order to be able to get a deal in real estate. You can actually do what's called creative finance. You can actually make an offer to a seller, and the seller will say yay or nay to your deal. The seller can actually act as the bank. They can actually be the bank for you. So you don't have to come up with the entire, well, you can work out any structured deal that you would like,
So what you're saying is
the main thing is that the seller knows, likes, and trusts you on some level.
Right.
So if you can establish credibility and confidence in the seller, then they're more than likely to work with you on creative finance offers. So credit might not even matter, because I've have yet to hear of a seller actually running credit on somebody they're working a creative finance deal out with. So there you go. There's one workaround.
Hopefully that sets someone free. Creativity is key, is what we're saying.
Absolutely.
Can you scoop for me 1 second? So the next one is, then they search for properties online. And my friend told me she's used in the past the auction to find properties that you can buy.
Hey, that's actually a good strategy.
Is that a good strategy?
Mm-hmm.
So, but you still need to be able to discern whether or not it's a
scalable strategy.
It's not a scalable strategy.
But it's a good strategy. If you're going to find like a one-off deal,
right?
You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that.
One-off.
Yeah.
The problem is the one-off part.
Yeah, but the problem is like consistently finding great deals.
Right.
You may or may not acquire one on auction.
Right. So then if that's not a scalable strategy, then what is? Just looking on Zillow, or like what is a scalable strategy?
I will say the strategy that I would recommend for a new investor is one that's fairly not complicated to set up. We work with agents. You can actually establish a relationship with agents. And if you have the right automation systems, you can actually follow up with them.
I'm sorry, auto what? You said auto what?
Plug them into a friendly CRM. Go high level.
Oh, whatever. Yes, because this is not really about.
But it's not about CRM.
Yeah,
but
it's not about CRM.
Finding a way. Well, first of all, establishing a relationship with the agent. Let them know you're an investor. Talk to them. Tell them you plan on doing multiple deals, and establish that relationship, that connection with them.
Right.
And then the real meat of it is the follow-up, consistently following up with them on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. And you'll find better and better deals in the follow-up. The power is actually in the follow-up itself.
Doesn't that work across the board in life, not just in real estate? Like follow-up.
It sounds simple.
Yeah.
It sounds straightforward, but Have you ever done that? Have you ever heard no? Especially when they're not like particularly happy about your offer, because you're an investor, you want to get it at a steep discount. They're not happy to take that call. They're going to know your number. Can you consistently follow up with them, despite the no's, despite the rejections, despite time passing and things like that? So I highly recommend you get a system of some sort in place that can actually do that for you.
Right. So systemize your follow-up and work on the MLS with agents.
Absolutely.
Use that secret sauce of relationship building skills.
Mm-hmm. And the cool thing is, if you actually get deals done with the agents, they're going to want to call you first.
Right.
Because you did such a thing.
Yes.
Like, think about it from an agent perspective. They like the path of least resistance.
Right.
Can they work with you and just get the deal done?
Right.
And make their commission. They want to just move on, get the deal done, make their commission, and move on with their life. So if you can be that problem solver for them,
right.
And if you're easy to work with and they like you, they're going to call you first before they even before the deal even hits the market.
That's right. I love it.
And guess who they're going to advocate for? Your offer. Your offer.
Your offer. Your offer. I love it. Okay. So then they contact the real estate agent. We already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, always the way you position yourself in the conversation as an investor right off the bat, not as someone who's just curious but not serious. That makes a big deal.
Absolutely.
Just in the impression that they have of you. And then the other thing is the fifth step that I asked chat was attempt to make an offer. If everything looks good emotionally, did you see that? It says most people have emotional. That's okay. It's fine.
Right.
Most people have an emotional connection to maybe like what the property looks like and all this. Like there's so much more to it. But it says if everything looks good emotionally, they try to make an offer, then figure out inspections, appraisals, and negotiations as they go. So it sounds like a very, not haphazard, because I think people are doing the best that they know to do, but I'm starting to think that there could be a better way.
Absolutely.
Right?
You definitely want to have a checklist of things that you're going to do for every single deal. You don't want to miss or skip steps, especially because of real estate. You want to make sure that you're getting the property inspected. Make sure that you have title company lined up. That's somebody. I'll tell you right now, title companies are not all created as equal, guys. They're not always the same. They're not always great. Most of them are fine. Most times you'll have no issues with the title company, but there are certain times where man, I've had some issues, guys. Look at my YouTube channel. You'll find them.
Right.
I can tell you stories.
Right.
But yeah, make sure you got a great title company lined up that you trust. And if you've done it, at least heard from other investors that they're a great quality title company to work with.
Right.
Definitely want to do that.
Right.
But yeah, there's a laundry list of things you should do on every single deal.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Should you just wing it and just do it by yourself?
I would highly recommend you don't do that.
Have you done that?
No.
Have you attempted to?
Not by myself.
By yourself?
No,
okay.
I highly recommend if you want to get involved in real estate,
get a coach.
Get a coach.
And
100%.
even when you invested in coaching, was it still a walk in the park, or did you have to
you have to
figure stuff out?
You still things going to be need to figure out on some level. I mean, that's with anything in life. You're going to learn to walk before you can run. With anything in life. So. But coaching, having a coach and a mentor who's been there and done that can save you a world of hurt. So I highly recommend that.
Well,
it's your wrap up.
So I think that kind of comes to the conclusion of our cooking and calling first time for everything, right? The camera decided to die a few times, but that's okay. That's all right. We're not here to impress anybody. We're just here to cook and to really chat with you guys. It's been an honor. So this Sunday, we're going to be hosting, I'll be your hostess with the mostest, hosting our Deal in 90 Days Masterclass. If you are on that track of being called out of the rat race, or if you might be an entrepreneur already and you're already making money, but you keep on giving, a lot of your earnings and your profits to your favorite uninvited business partner, Uncle Sam. If that's you, then please take the time to invest in yourself. Come learn how you can actually find, fund, and fortify your portfolio.
Absolutely.
So that it actually can transfer on to the next generation. in 90 days or less, you get the skill set, like the tools, skills, and the mindset to be able to actually do that. Why? Because done it before, and you don't have to go through all of the rigmarole of trying to figure things out for the first time. You can literally buy somebody else's wisdom. And we have the masterclass for free, right? Like people can come in for free, or
you can,
or
they can upgrade to VIP.
Yeah. So if you want the front row seat,
we should tell them what's involved in the VIP.
So what's involved in VIP? Okay, so first of all, it's not just for name. It's not for the title. Like that's not about. The VIP is literally you making a decision to invest in yourself intentionally, not just with your time. And we appreciate your time if you come free, but it's you're making a stake in the ground to say I'm gonna invest this much to actually learn directly and have access to the Q&A, to the bonus training that we're going to be preserving just for those who are taking that bold move forward, as well as all the perks that come along with it. So
wait. Sorry, don't gloss over the perk. No,
yeah, so I'm about to go into it. But
okay,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So what do you get when you get a VIP upgrade? The full access to
Zoom backgrounds.
The Zoom background. Well, that's
VIP Zoom backgrounds.
So you get to say, I invested in myself. That's nice.
Extra hour of Q&A.
Extra hour of Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
And then the real kicker really is the fact that you are going to get a profitable properties starter kit. It's
Absolutely.
a 3-in-1, amazing. It's actually worth over $75K in value.
No, well, 7,500.
So 500 in value. And it includes what can they actually use, like practically speaking.
We'll give you scripts, actual scripts that will work in the field, talking to agents, talking to sellers, things that have been tested and tried and proven across pretty much every state in the country. You'll also get purchase agreement. That alone, this between the script and the purchase agreement, that alone is thousands of dollars, because these are actual real world purchase agreements that you can use in pretty much any state. Do some cool things like novation agreements, if you know what that is, but some kind of advanced level stuff. But it works, it's investor friendly, and it covers you.
And it just it kind of lays out the overall things that you should be thinking about.
But have your lawyer look at it.
Yes. So
just make sure.
We decided that we're going to jam pack this VIP ticket with so much value, so that you walk away with not only the insider knowledge that will be shared during the VIP hour, you get to ask the questions, but then you have something tangible that you can actually use as a frame of reference should you decide to actually start pursuing this journey. So with that being said, I think we're about to get bombarded by the kiddos.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much for sticking around, and hopefully you learned something. We love you guys. We're here to serve, and we're just so thrilled to be on this journey where we hopefully never arrive, because we're always going to be loving, learning, and leading
fearlessly.
There you go. All right.
Looks like she finishes my
statement.
Oh my God. Okay. We were almost there, guys. See you later.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.